Good morning, everybody. My name's pianomattyb. That is Scaramucci's. And this is your morning TA. A brief glimpse into the crypto markets where the sun's shining, where the wind's blowing. Ow, the humble opinion of this front porch. I was actually surprised I could remember that. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Mike Loney, Terry Crow. I'm George, Johnny December, down in Belize. Randy from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Bobby Friedman, the professor who started it all. Math professor. Edgewood Modern, Mark Sanji. Good morning from Vancouver. Camo Crawdad. Good morning from West Virginia. I just saw a documentary on West Virginia and how the towns are all kind of emptied out. It's kind of sad to see that they had the division between kind of drug addicts and super hardworking people. It was like there was no in between. Morning, Troy from Huntington Beach. Yes, it's another beautiful day here on planet Earth. A day we're not guaranteed. We're not guaranteed these days. But we're lucky enough to have them anyways. So get out there and knock them dead. I got my weird appreciation for gratitude and time on my month-long trip to the Amazon jungles of Peru to do ayahuasca. It was essentially maybe the most bizarre, crazy thing I've ever done in my life. Seen as though you have to go there kind of by yourself. You fly to Lima. You puddle jump over the mountains to some landing strip. And you sit in an office and you kind of sign away stuff. Then you hop into this little motorcycle of sorts. It's like an old Honda converted into a cab or something. And it takes you to an old Toyota 4Runner. And then it starts driving. It's a 4-hour drive from that little landing strip into the jungle. But as you drive down the 4 hours, it goes from normal road to gravelly road to is this a road to this isn't a road. And now you're in the jungle. But the driver has been there so long, it knows how to do it. And it's like he's going up the rock. Vroom, 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 and you're like 6 of you in this old 4Runner. And he just knows how to navigate this road, and then boom, you open up into this Mayantayaku, it's called. And it's right beside a boiling river. I know. I didn't think those existed. And when you say pianomattyb, it can't be boiling. It is boiling. It comes from, there's a volcano, and it comes right in there, and it's not boiling. You can put your hand in it for a second, but you can't, like, keep your skin in it. It'll burn. It's like plus 40 degrees right beside a boiling river. But it was the ayahuasca that made me see the world differently. Time and gratitude. I call it, and this gets a little weird, emotional time traveling. So one of the things that I always say ayahuasca does for you is that you take on the hardship and the sorrow of almost humanity's from its way back, whenever you want to call it, 100 million years ago to now. You absorb it, and you go through all the emotions of sorrow, hardship, pain, everything. So it's pretty tough. But it allows you to go there when you're, let's say, not having a good day. Right? I can emotionally time travel to a really bad day. I don't know whose bad day I'm experiencing, but it is. It is 666. Sounds like DMT. Yes, it is DMT. Bobby Freeman. Everyone always says something very similar. Yes, everyone should do ayahuasca. I always tell people you will when the plants call you. And that's what they did for me. I found myself researching it more and more, like instead of researching pyramids, which I'll go down those wormholes every now and then. Who made those pyramids? Wait a second. I started researching the plants, and then it got more and more, and I got kind of pseudo obsessed with it. And next thing you know, I'm in Peru, and it was hot. You had to sleep in this net because there were spiders everywhere, and it was still plus 35. Brendan, I'd be tripping balls doing psychedelics sitting next to a boiling river with strangers. Yes, that's essentially what it was. I didn't know any of the person there. It's not true. I went with a shaman from here. So I knew the guy. I called him Jim the Anarchist. Because before he was a ayahuascan shaman, he was a pretty hardcore anarchist. Like, he was one of those black shirt people that would be at the G7s before I even knew what G7 was. And then he became a shaman, so I went with him. So I kind of had my hand held to a certain degree on the flights and blah, blah, blah. But I had done it before I went to Peru, so it wasn't like I went to Peru not knowing what it was. I knew what it was. And I never had a bad experience on it. Some people do. Some people puke. Some people, have diarrhea. I never saw the diarrhea. I heard the puke, but I never did. You can talk yourself into the puke ledge, though, at any given point, I guess. See what's going on here. The FOMO index has raised to 56 from yesterday's 50, so we're in greed again. Bitcoin dominance 48.4%, basically the same, little under 50 though. 24-hour volume up to 41 billion. I don't know why it's sideways, that arrow. I'm not sure. The overall market cap is 1.2 trillion. Sing it for me. Give or take 100 million. And now that I played that intro, I realized I should have done that before. I just jumped into the ayahuasca. Someone I know recently did ayahuasca, though, and it was like 6 months ago. She's like, should I do it? I'm like, I don't know, but just see if the plants call you, and if they call you, you'll do it. And then 6 months later, she called me and said, I'm going to do it. And she went and visited my friend Jim the Anarchist, the shaman. Morning DNA rhythms. How you doing this morning? Mushrooms the same way. Lots of people puke. I never did. I've puked on mushrooms. This is an interesting stream already. Ayahuasca and mushrooms. Okay, let's see here. Take a look at some of this news here. FedNow service has no relation with CBDCs, Federal Reserve clarifies. The Federal Reserve certified the FedNow service as ready after it onboarded 41 financial institutions, 15 service providers, and the U.S. Department of Treasury to test the system before it launches by the end of July 2023, which kind of is the end of July 2023. But there you go. It has nothing to do with CBDCs. They're clarifying it right here. They've clarified it. Has no relationship with CBDCs. And if that's what they say, well, that's good enough for me, because I trust my government. They only have the best intentions for me and the rest of my kin and my family and my socioeconomic situation. They're looking out for me. That's what I can guarantee. And if they say that it has no relationship with CBD, when have they been wrong? I mean, were they wrong about certain medicines? Yeah. Who wouldn't be? It was a crazy, wild, kooky time. Were they wrong about inflation? Yeah. Okay, yeah, they were. That's just two times they were wrong. So I'm going to trust them. If they say it's no relationship with CBDC, who am I to disagree with those psychopaths? But I kind of subscribe to our Georgie Gam Gams. If you don't watch George Gammon's channel, he has great information. He has two channels. One that he does whiteboards, and one that he does like live streams. I think it's called God, what is it called? How come I can't remember it? Anyway, you'll find it. He has great information all the time. And he says, how do you know the CBDC hasn't been here already, that we're already on it? It's a good question. Terry Rooster, wait, Matty B, are you saying our government is lying to us? You've gone too far. No, I'm not saying they're lying to us now. I'm saying they've always lied to us. Always have, always will. We'll get this headline out of here. I think we understand it now. Oh, there we go. He says, how would we know? Yeah, rebel capitalist. That's right, Gavin24, rebel capitalist. I have the comments come up here, then they come up here in eCam, and when I hit put comment on, can't do it. He says, how do you know that the CBDC isn't already here? And that's a good question, because I remember when I started my journey in currency trading, when I got conspiratorially motivated, I suppose. Well, what is trading? What is trading but a conspiracy theory itself? You're conspiring with other traders that the price is going to go in a direction. So you can't help. I've never met a good trader who wasn't, I don't know, 70% deep in most conspiracy theories. And I say they're a theory because the psychopaths will have you believe that they're not true. But, you know, like I said, when have they been wrong? Oh, a couple times, a few times. Almost, you know, everything that they say is a lie. Well, it turns out it's all true, most of it. That's why I made that shirt. It's Conspiracy Theorist Batting 1000. Anyway, when I got into it, I realized, they're going to try to take away cash. And that was in 2008, 2007, when I first started. And look at us now. Even me, rarely have money. I keep $15 in my squash club locker. I keep some loonies in the car for miscellaneous things I need. Like, I had to put air in my tire. Do you know it costs money to put air in your tire now? $2 a toonie, if it were in Canada. $2 to put air in my car. I don't know why I'm putting air in my tire. It's a brand new car. It should take care of itself. There's always a tire pressure issue with it. Hyundais. But I remember going to the bar back in the day with $100 minimum in my pocket cash. Now, I asked my sister, who's 23, 24. She's had waitressing gigs and stuff like that. And she says she has to come back for her tips because there's no cash. So I'm like, well, what do you even want that stupid job for? The only reason you want that job is for the cash. So now they get paid a check in their tips. How brutal is that? Because no one has cash. No one brings $100 to the bar. No one brings $100 anywhere to a restaurant or anything like that. Can you imagine that? When was the last time you went to a restaurant and the bill was $70? I just pulled out $100, 20, 40, 60, 80, keep the change. It's probably been years. So now all they have to do is integrate the rails on the CBDC, and you wouldn't even know. And this is why it's my belief that the CBDC will be adopted instantaneously. Look how many people are on the dole. Look how many people will get their pension. Look how many people are on welfare. Look how many people are on food stamps or whatever that is. When I think of food stamps, I think of stamps, but obviously they're probably credits for food. That'll be a CBDC. Any disability from the government will be a CBDC. Any of these stupid rebate checks that they extort from private business and give to everyone on the dole, those will be CBDC. Your tax return. So if you have a normal job, and people are like, oh, I got my tax return. Like, listen, they took that money from you and you waited 3 months with no interest, and then they gave it back to you. It's not a windfall of money. That's your money that they took from you, and now you got it back. That will be in the CBDC. So it'll be adopted instantly, and then the government will rejoice in its adoption. See, we knew how great the CBDC was and how everyone would love it. Earth Scum says, my boss gives a 3% discount to people who use cash or check. Huh. He figures he gets the same amount. That, you know what? That's a great idea, because you think about it. All these businesses, these restaurants, who makes the most money in a restaurant? Why, it's the Visa and American Express and the banks, because they take a cut of every transaction. Goes back to our CBDC's already here. Well, the bank's making money on almost every little 1,000 slashes. Wherever they go, they're making money. So pay with cash, yeah. You're pseudo out of the system. J Day, all transactions, bye cash. You won't be able to purchase because retail won't be able to receive. Yeah, and there's people that already won't take cash, except for the weed companies. I think they can only take cash or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong in the States, but yeah, they get to collect your information, location, store, and purchase item. J Day, I'm in Sweden. We the most cashless. Oh, pretty much cashless here too. When I was a bartender, that's why it was the greatest gig in the world. Bartending, if you can rise to the top level of bartending in your city, which is usually a nightclub or a very popular watering hole that kind of is an institution, everyone goes there. You can basically work there for 10 years and set yourself. So like, instead of going to university, I basically bartended for 10 years. And that is what gave me the money to start investing. Everything I invested in was the cash from bartending. And plus, with the nightclub, there was also a lot of cash there. Probably shouldn't be talking about that. I lost it all in a boating accident anyway, so I made the mistake of taking my shoebox of bartending cash and onto a boat. And they said, hey, put a life jacket around that box of cash. Like, no, I'll be fine. I can swim. I'll just hold it. And sure enough, we hit a big wave. Boom, all that cash gone. So for the record, I lost all that cash. But if you were going to do something besides go to university, find yourself a bartending job. But now that I say that, I realize I don't think it's the same. So you could make more money than most people ever imagine bartending at a busy nightclub. It's lawyer money, really, for the 4 hours you work. So yeah, enough about that. Again, I lost it in a boating accident. So what's the next one? Apple has its own GPT AI system, but no stated plans for public release. The Cupertino, California-based company reportedly developed an internal GPT system on Google infrastructure for employees to tinker with. It's just for our employees to tinker with. That makes sense. Why would they want to give that powerful information, that powerful tool, to anyone when they can stay on top, head and shoulders above technology, using their own version of ChatGPT better than anyone else? I don't blame them. I think that's what's happened in history, is that the people that are in the know keep people that aren't in the know from ever getting in the know. I've seen some stuff on lately that ChatGPT is not working that well for people. I don't know. Terry Rooster, do you have a tasty dish commonly associated with Winnipeg exclusively, looking for a new recipe to try? No. Well, no, not really. I think there's nothing really significant about Winnipeg or its food. It's really kind of meat and potatoes. I'd hesitate to say it's maybe Ukrainian, Polish-y, blah, 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 kind of, you know. There's halapshis. I always say that. Holy halapshi eating contest. And the reason why I say that is that in Saskatoon, where I didn't really grow up, but I spent 4 young years there. And so they seem long, although I say I grew up there. They'd have a halapshi eating contest every year where people would sit down and with bibs and they'd try to eat as many halapshis as they can. So that's why it's always stuck in my mind, holy halapshi eating contest. Bizarre. I got some funny things here. What is this? 3 reasons why Bitcoin traders anticipate Bitcoin price to briefly sweep the 27.5K level. Right. So this goes back to what I've been talking about on the weekly, the Wookie. See that little target? That's 27.4. That's basically the bottom of this ascending channel. So we've been talking about that a long time. Plus, if we can't make it above, oh, you can't see my thing right there, that descending channel's resistance, we keep tapping on it, but I don't believe that when you tap up, it gets weaker. I believe when you tap up, it gets stronger. When you tap down, it gets weaker. If you keep bouncing on. She thought I was waving to her, like this was a wave. Hi. You tap down, knock knock ginger on that support door, it does fall. When you knock up, it's like every time you knock, it gets slightly weaker. So who knows? But yeah, so they're kind of anticipating that. If we can't get above that level, I don't know. We tried. Remember, we've been talking about our all-time high we've seen for this year, and we'll just kind of coast down to 2024 till we get the halving, which will be exciting because I have a feeling that for most people, this is their first official bull run. Not all, obviously. I know there's some OGs in here, but from like they're right now, if you're in here and you didn't experience the exponential gains of the last bull run, maybe you got in at 50 or 60 or who knows, or maybe after the peak. Well, you're in for a hell of a ride. These are the little moments in life that we all wait for. Your prediction on all-time high for 2023? Well, I don't like to make predictions, Abby. I like Doug Casey always says, if you're going to make predictions, make lots of them and make them all the time. And I've said a couple times that we may have reached the all-time high and we will coast down a bit. But this little 32K, maybe it is the all-time high. After all, it is 100% from our bottom. So take a look at some of these other things here. They're not arresting Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's clients because they are Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine. What is it? Ghislaine? Ghislaine? Is it a silent S? I don't know. Halapshis it is then. I got cabbage to cook for it too. Well, take a picture of those halapshis and send them to me there, Terry. Yeah, the fact that we never hear about it, I go on and on about this Epstein thing because it's the tip of the sword for the corruption of this system, and it basically encapsulates what's wrong with this power apparatus. And until that's dealt with, everything's a joke. Well, we all know that as long as we're in a fiat monetary paradigm, everything is a joke. The money's fake, everything's fake. So it doesn't surprise me that these people kind of live their life unscathed, so to speak. Yeah, he died, but his legacy of complete destruction of human lives, like what a crazy. I just wish that I'm around when they make that unbelievable biopic of Jeffrey Epstein. Gareth says 12K soon. Yeah, well, there's a lot of TA that says 12K. If we hit that 27.4, if I bring this up again. Let me bring this up again. although I can't see it. Yeah, so if we hit that 27.4 where that target is, we'll be building out the left stage right shoulder of a head and shoulders pattern. And that, if that breaks down, that could take us to that 12K area. So you're right. He's right. You know, but just like Garth Soloway, he has to make that prediction lots and all the time. And it sounds more and more plausible as we sit here. Can't, like, treading water at 30K. Bullish on Parade. I hope the Sound of Freedom movie drains some swamps. Yeah, well, again, he's another guy that he better be checking his brakes all the time. Not Tim Ballard, but Caviezel? I can't remember the actor's name. Jim Caviezel? Jim Caviezel? He should be checking his brakes. Mike Caps, the lower it goes, the more I buy. Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, I was having a conversation with a guy at the squash club, a buddy of mine named Tommy. He's 73, works out every day. He's in great shape. I said, I just want to go on the record that you should buy some Bitcoin for your grandkids or your children, because in 2 years when everyone's talking about Bitcoin, I don't want you to come to me and say, hey, you're wearing all these Bitcoin shirts and these bunny hugs and these hats, and you never told me to buy Bitcoin. So I was like, this is the day that I'm going to go on the record and say you should buy some Bitcoin just for your financial dynastic legacy to your grandkids. Well, he's like, well, when do I sell? It's like, you don't. You just buy it now and then you give it to your grandkids so that they're set basically for life, barring some economic black swan or what have you. Got lost there. Can't remember what I was talking about. Not that one. The bottom for newbies, the bottom for veterans. It's so true. 1 second. Johnny December. Maddie, I know you've heard of Bohemian Grove. Look into Belizean Grove. Oh, no. I can't believe it. Are you telling me there's something more interesting and sinister than Bohemian Grove, Johnny December? Wow. I will do that. I won't be able to do it today, however, because it's auction day. So I got to go and do about 100 cars for 3 hours. And then, yep, the female version. Oh, interesting. The female version of Bohemian Grove. Is it all the psychopathic elites, Johnny? That'd be interesting if it was their counterparts or whatever, to wash their own sins away, being complicit with the psychopathy. And then Kyle and I are doing a piano show outside downtown. Probably to 10 to 12 people. It's quite interesting. It's a beautiful place. It just hasn't caught on yet. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Bobby Freeman says, wow, Johnny, I got to spend the whole day looking into this. Yes, for sure. I got the wrong one there. Let's see if Duke's up. I let him sleep again. The reason I brought this one, the bottom for newbies, the bottom for veterans, because it reminds me of my poker days. Because I say this all the time, but I had a very Forrest Gumpian life. Certain things happened at certain times that were just like, wow, I can't believe the timing. For instance, in 2004, hey, buddy. I just got one little story here, then you can sing us out, okay?
Okay, then why do you not?
Well, I never know if you're coming right away or this. I'll keep this one quick. 2 years old. You'd use your TFSA to buy Canadian Bitcoin ETFs. I got some. No, I don't. My TFSA is filled with gold miners and copper royalty companies. That's it. I just put it in there. It was too hard to get it out. I'm like, well, I'll just stick it in these gold miners and royalty. They're all royalty companies. Anyway, 2004, when we were working in this bar, we started a poker company by accident. I think I've told the story before, but when we were making poker tables, all of a sudden the NHL went on strike. So poker became the biggest thing anyone's ever seen in a long time. And if it wasn't for the NHL going on strike, man, we wouldn't have gone anywhere. we wouldn't have sold any poker tables. And that lasted about... Hey, Duke, there's a joke here for you. Hey, Duke. Uh-oh, what did I do here? What do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. Yeah. So, good one, Bullish on Parade. And so, yeah, I played so much poker for about 4 years that I don't like... Hold on, Duke. I'm done. I don't like poker now because I've heard every bad beat story in the whole world. And when people would come up to me with their bad beat story, I'd say, oh, no, yeah, I charge $10 a bad beat story. And they'd laugh. Ah, ha, ha. I know, I'm serious. I charge $10. And they'd laugh again. Ah, ha, ha. And they'd go on with their story. It always starts with, so I'm sitting there with pocket rockets. Yeah, let me guess. Yeah, river came and you got flushed out. Yeah, that's what I got. Okay, buddy. You got to come up here, though. Yeah, because remember, this mic is only catching this. So they won't hear you. Unless you want to sing it super loud from there.
We're playing the same game as our psychopathic elected elites. That's right, it's a long game. So zoom out and have a fantastic day. Well, around the banks to boom the smith, Bitcoin, crypto, mining tea.
Whoa. You lost it at the end there. And now the neighborhood is awake. Boom. There was another joke for you, Duke. Hey, Duke, why are ants so confused?
Where?
That's a question. How come ants are always so confused? Because all their Oh, see, I missed it. Let me see if I can bring that one back here. Because all their uncles are ants.
I'm confused.
Oh, jeez. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. She's right there. She's pulling up. That's why we're getting out of here. Have a good day, everybody. Take care. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video.